Hi, on your quality evaluation scorecards, a missed greeting and a missed compliance check doesn't really carry the same weight. So let's see how you can make your scorecards on evaluagentCX reflect your reality with weightings. Let's just take a look at the platform. So essentially, why weighting matters is that the line item weighting controls how much each question in your scorecard contributes to the overall QA percentage. Now, essentially, what that means that without that, every line item on your scorecard would count equally, which of course can distort results and coaching focus. So let's take a look at a scorecard example. I'm going to use the command palette up at the top by hitting Command and K, and I'm looking for Manage Scorecards. So I'm just going to build an example scorecard here with just 2 line items. So we'll assign that to the telephony channel as a front office contact type. And of course, I want to make this a weighted scorecard. We can leave everything else as it is, that's fine. Actually, let's just put pass rate in at 90%. And that all looks good. So if we just add in a line item for, greeting, for example, I'll assign this to the customer experience category, not applicable, doesn't matter, it's not an auto fail. We'll just give this a particular, a pass fail template, just for the purposes of the example here. Now, our weighting value is at the bottom of the line item setup. At this point, it's recommended just to simply add a 1 in there. Because once we've done all of our line items on the scorecard, that's when we really adjust the weighting value, because all of the line items in your scorecard play a part in this, how this value acts. I'm just going to add the line item in there, and let's just add another one for customer ID and V. We'll say that's risk. We'll leave autofill for now because that's not really in scope for this video. That just really allows you to set the evaluation to fail completely if this line item on its own fails. So we'll just leave that as a 2-point scoring template, and we've got our weighting value in there at 1. So let's preview this scorecard just now. So we have our scorecard here, 2 line items, really straightforward. Right now, they both have a weighting of 1. Now, what that means is that they are equally scored. So if we pass 1 and fail 1, if we preview the results here, naturally that's 50%. But let's look at how the weightings do actually play a part. So let me just bring up this little spreadsheet. So this is just a kind of behind the scenes calculation as to how the weightings value work. So in this case here, we have got our 2 line items, like so. Our weighting value is set at 1. And of course, that means that they are each valued at 50% of the overall quality score. So let's say for our ID and V case, we want this to score more or have a heavier weighting than the customer greeting. This is where we can then change the value of that weighting. Now, how the calculation works in terms of the percentage impact, it looks at dividing the weighting value of the individual line item against the total of all of the weightings of all of those values in your line items. That's why it's important to leave your weighting assignment until all of your line items are built into the scorecard. That's how that's calculated. So if you're looking to, increase that, let's say we just added, increase that to a 3, we can see that jumping up to 75%. Now, how we change that in the platform, let me just get rid of that. I'm just going to come back to the scorecard builder here, and I'm going to edit, and I'm just going to come back down here and change that to 3. So once we save the changes in there, preview the scorecard, and this time if we fail that, we can preview the results, and of course our evaluation result is 25% because we have failed the question with the heavier weighting. If it was the other way around, then naturally this would mean that we would get a 75% score based on the weightings in there. And that is how you weight your line items on your scorecards in evaluagentCX.